videotaping myself. Pig sound asleep. No, I'm standing up. I'm walking to Jake's bedroom door and unlocking it. It's 4:50 a.m. 4:55. The clock is wrong. It's been rolled back. My phone's set by satellite. So I know my phone is right. First time I've seen this one wrong. I'm going to go back to sleep. Oh yeah, the snitch at work said to me, their little 4-year-old child, all she ever wants to eat is peanut butter. So Roland's comments about peanut butter, he's been lying, saying that I've been using peanut butter for sexual activity. Jacob hates peanut butter. He'll eat it if he has no other food to eat, but other than that, he's not ever going to ask you for peanut butter. I think he's eaten it once in the past year. And I don't think he ate it at all the year before. That's because Roland's an ex-convict and ex-con's lying, and they have an agenda. And then they laugh when they can get cops to believe them. Rowan's jealous of Jacob because Jacob's 13 and has his whole life ahead of him. He's not a juvenile delinquent. He just does the right thing, makes honor roll at school and honors classes, and wants to go to med school and probably make $120,000 a year or more the rest of his life after he graduates from med school. He hates me because I'm not a pedophile and I'm standing up for myself, which he says he didn't rape his 13-year-old stepdaughter. He says he went to prison for 15 years so his ex-wife wouldn't commit suicide. I told him I don't see why anybody that hadn't committed a crime would walk into a courtroom and say they did. So he hates me for doing what he should have done, which was stand up for himself. I'm not a pedophile. I don't have any interest in sexual activity with children, let alone people that are even 25 years old. I'm 44. I have scoliosis in my hip, arthritis, bulging disc in my neck, and a cervical strain that causes both of my arms to go numb. In addition to a uterus full of hemorrhaging cysts that bleed internally and periodically hemorrhage through my vagina. How on earth would I be able to rape a child? I weigh 300 pounds. A 3X is too small for me now. I would have to be spending all of my time holding lollipops out like the monster in Stephen King's It, trying to seduce children to get them to be cooperative. My blubber covers my genital area from my abdomen. I have an ovarian cyst on my right ovary. And I have a lot of back pain. You will never see me fussing over children. I've worked with children in public schools for 5 years. I do not have any interest in other people's children. And I've never had sexual contact with a child ever. These are all lies, and I've got text messages from Ava basically laughing and saying that she's false reporting me and that she knows she is. She and all the neighbors, and Roland says he didn't know anything about it. I'm not guilty. I never was, and I'm not gonna continue to put up with this. If I was a theater major in college. I was a drama society president, later in varsity cheerleading and fast pitch softball in high school. My sisters got photographs of me in cheerleading outfits. A lot thinner then. I was never skinny, but I've never been a pedophile. Roland's a son of a bitch, and he's a liar, and so is Eva, and so are the drunkards, and so are Pat and Ron, and so are Fred and Shante. And I don't care if you give me sodium amytal. I don't care if you give me a lie detector test. I am not a pedophile. And having snitches conduct a sting operation, like the woman who trained me yesterday. There are cameras all over the store in Circle K. I wear an audio recorder, 2 audio recorders, and I have 2 cameras that on cell phones. I try to videotape myself and do Facebook updates when I can to document that I'm innocent in what I go through. And what my son goes through, because these people are all lying. It's conspiracy to commit perjury. To Eva, and Eva told me in her messages she'd already hired somebody to kill me at a good price too. And Roland is a liar. Jake and I don't go into Jake, and I don't ever go into Roland's bedroom. And Jake didn't ever have sex with anybody. And I'm not a prostitute. The last person I had sex with was Perry McBride in the month of August 2014, my ex-boyfriend. And, sex is not something that, that I'm focused on or spend all my time thinking about or anything like that. I think Perry dropped me like a hot potato because my uterus was bleeding. So I have a lot of pain. My doctor told me that I have a hormonal imbalance in it. With stabbing pain I feel in my pelvic areas from the system I overeat. I have medical courses saying everything that I say I have is true. The doctors have diagnosed me with all of it, and sometimes it just hurts for me to stand up. And why would you take the word of an ex-convict if you think I'm guilty of all these things? The fabrication of audio monitoring is so blatantly obvious. And if you believe that I'm a pedophile, the last thing you should ever do would be to just use audio and the word of what people say. If you're going to surveil somebody that you think is a pedophile, I think you should probably do it with very, very convincing methods of surveillance, including video, so that there's no doubt that what you're uncovering is true or not true, just for the sake of brevity and getting the job done in order to protect the child. Taking affidavits from what people say for months on end. Ex-convicts have such sterling reputations. Roland was also convicted of larceny, grand larceny, did 8 years for that. Eva was a prostitute in New Orleans. She did 8 years in New Orleans. I haven't talked to her twice in the last year. And it was like maybe for 2 minutes or less when she came here to see Ryan. Eva doesn't have anything to do with me or Jake. Nobody ever spends a dime with me and Jake but me. So, this is a blackmailing conspiracy. And as many pedophiles things as I go through and have been through, there's so much evidence to that effect. But it's never ending. And, if you conduct a pedophile sting and your suspect doesn't behave as a pedophile, do it 1,000 times till they finally do. Some people would even argue that you are, in fact, enticing them and entrapping them into behavior of a pedophile. Well, I don't believe that there's any evidence to say that I'm a pedophile. You think somebody might do something. Well, you can't do stuff like this because you think somebody might do something. You lay your reputation as a police officer on the line to lie about somebody and trust a bunch of dopeheads, drug addicts, and ex-convicts for your testimony. You can call a first-year police officer and ask them for their opinion about that. The judge will tell you that he would never trust people like that. Ever. He wouldn't catch them dead just trusting people like that and believing their testimony because they've already proven that they don't have much credibility. That's why you have to corroborate those types of affidavits, and you have to do it with clear and convincing evidence. You don't sit back and just tape record somebody if they're supposed to be raping a child. That's the last thing you would ever do. And if you're doing that, and that person is raping a child, then you should be charged with endangerment. Because the truth is, if you're sitting back recording, I could get up right now and go over to my son and rape him, and there might be audio recorders and audio monitoring going on, but that's not going to protect me from going over
and raping my son if I chose to do that, right? That's not protecting a child and saying we think that she's going to rape her son, so we're going to audio monitor. That doesn't do anything to protect a child. That's why before surveillance equipment existed, and probably even after it was used, cops don't do it this way. There's never a reason to surveil a child unless you're a pedophile. This cop is a pedophile using a badge to surveil my son, falsify evidence, trying to get custody of my son, going into my classroom, conducting all these pedophile things, saying all this about me, because the cop is the one who's the pedophile, whoever that person is. Why would you sit back and tape record and take affidavits about a child that's been sexually abused if you have clear and convincing evidence of that fact enough to establish probable cause the way it's always been done? The police officer takes it to a sex crimes detective who takes it to a judge who immediately takes action and does not sit back and tape record, let alone use just audio monitoring conducted by civilians, ex-convicts, no less, drug heads, and drug addicts. They don't do that. I know. I testified for the Shreveport District Attorney's Office in a rape case. I know what they do. That's not it. You see stuff like that going on, you hear things like that, and you have a cop trying to tell you that that's okay. Use your brain. That's not okay. It doesn't even make sense to do that, does it? It's never been done that way. It's not done that way. And saying that I consent to it all, that makes it legal, doesn't it?